Good evening. Would like to introduce the presentation Automated Testing of the Workability of Cybersecurity Systems. Briefly about us. Krynovsky Yuri and Kazakova Natalia, independent experts. The errors in the systems, it's norm. Please think about the topic of looking of automated testing in complex so that it would happen constantly and regularly. So where this idea did come from? With your permission, I'll stand up. It's not comfortable to do it in a sitting way. You can sit if you want. So, where did we get this idea from? The idea came at the interconnection of two areas of internet security. Trainings, courses, defense analysis, where we have different cyber fields, stands, some systems of automation for pen tests, etc. The second one is technical information protection, which also has a lot of different systems and means which are searched. And in most of the cases, these systems are checked before application that they are workable. They have their own testers, or you purchased a separate tester. You bring the box which can generate any signal of any device, leakage through the channel, and then you check that your program works. And only then you start searching, because you cannot find anything with non-workable, non-operational mean of protection. However, before you will go deeper into our presentation, I would like to tell you that we don't think that it's somebody's fault in discovering those errors. Errors is a normal condition when you develop systems. But we need to think about what is to be done in this concern. So where these errors can come from? We have wonderful, complex security system which protects the organization, but it has anti-malware, which during the programming, he could make a mistake. He could select technology which during 1 year can become outdated. And from this, we have an error, which is not critical. The system, anti-malware system continues to work, but there are deficiencies. Second of all, resources. You've installed a system, you've calculated resources, installed another system, it took resources, or you have extended the fleet of your machines, and they started loading the system a lot more. The system works, but then you have some errors, slowdowns, etc., etc. Number three, exploitation. During exploitation, especially long exploitation, you can have errors accumulated. Some old data formats are being pulled, which have been supported 5 years ago. During exploitation, you have accumulated certain errors which do not influence the system, but right now they start showing off. Operation system, OS. Anti-malware has updated, but the OS is not supported. You have to install new OS, but you have no options. You should work with this version of the OS. You exploit as is. The OS has been updated, but anti-malware said, I'm not going to work with this. Nobody tested me on this one. The hardware part. With time, hardware part can get broken. The resource comes to the end. There are more errors, more slowdowns, some warnings, etc. Then software part. Anti-malware, it's not alone. It is surrounded by other programs, so they can influence each other. And that's why they can have some conflicts. Personnel. John is ahead to anybody. John can put down any working system, but I don't have any problems to June just by simple typo in the rule, misclick or something, and miss it. And the final thing which kills our system, different patches, plugins, extensions, additions that we install, especially open source ones, and they start conflicting with themselves. Yeah, the system works, but they are blocking each other. As a result, what is to be done with this? Right now, there are different types of testing prior to exploitation, during to acceptance into the pool of anti-malware, and during the exploitation as well. Also, errors can be discovered by people like employers of SOC that was monitoring and discovered some anomaly. They came and informed us about it. Also, this can be done by the criminal, but you will not like this one. So what is to be done? As a result, we have manual testing. We take and manually check the rules, or we automate by some scripts. We start studying, we're writing new scripts, and maybe by different vendors or plugins to test their systems. But usually the complex system testing is not available, and we don't understand the source code, the approach coming to our head. What kind of approach this can be used? We're not offering to dive into development of the complex automated system. The previous speaker told you that this is not a feasible approach, but what is being offered by us? We see three levels. Each developer can change it, and in principle, this is just a vision of situation. Option number one, without API. Your sysadmin, security administrator, collects the rules and folders of scripts. He has them, he uses some software, and with the help of these scripts generates a test. He is not doing the system audit, he's not discovering vulnerabilities, he's just checking that all security systems work as they're supposed to, that each system gives the proper warning. Then system becomes more complex. It has some core, which is going to be responsible for storage and generation of these tests scripts. Possibly it will be able to take policies on API of the system, some rules, settings, and their basis will generate test case. Then this test case will be sent to so-called local an external violators machine, which is going to be generating traffic for your system, will try to knock into your system, transfer something inside, from inside, and then afterwards, when the core, which is responsible for this test, will assemble statuses for all the tests, and will check whether they passed those tests or not, and will give you red or green light for your security admin, and say whether it's good or bad. And the final option, extending the system up to installation of the client for each host which demands the security system. Telemetric transfer about the work of the system and generation of some activity on the host. What can we get from that? All three levels of automation allow us to understand that we can repeat these checks continuously. For example, initially we have more for small organizations. Basic checks give us reports that allow us to increase the period of reaction, and then in extended version we have a possibility to understand whether it's a mass problem or it's a local problem for this particular host. This also gives us possibility to jointly receive the higher level of security, and because this check is an independent one, this also allows us to understand that all our systems are working and there's no interested stakeholder who would say that it works. And the most important thing is repeatability of these tests in this situation. From time to time, we have similar set of data, similar test sets, and our admin and IT security guy checked something, whether it works or not. We updated one system, checked, it works. In this one, it happens as a complex. It checks the whole system, but you don't have new conflicts internally. And right now, there is no specific solution in the Russian market. It's not a new idea, but this realization has not been completed by now. At a given moment of time, each team is checking the protection of anti-malware in their own way. But what tools do we have for this checkup?
Есть инструменты, которые делаются под конкретные
There are tools that are developed for specific systems. For example, Suricata has the test verification for Vazook. They have utility to test how they pass a decoder and how it works. And then we have even more or less universal means. For example, the same XIA in a generation mode. We don't have it during presentation. Well-known Metasploit to do some attack and see that your system is able to detect it, and a set of other below, which you can find the GitHub, which can emulate techniques and tactics on Mitra, ABT groups, behavior, and intrusion into your system. But there's a but, as always. First of all, they are not domestic. Second of all, they are not controlled. And what is going to happen when this will hit the organizational infrastructure? Nobody can say that. Prior to that, you will have to check this software. And what do we offer as a result? We propose to the community to think about this problem and find a solution. Do we need this solution to the community? Who uses what? And let's exchange our experiences.
Коллеги, спасибо большое.
Thank you very much, dear colleagues. Okay, dear viewers, do you have any questions?
Хорошо.
Yes, there is a question. Very good. Yes, I'm here. Hello, my name is Sergey. Okay, let's see. There was a very good bug which had a lot of factors. Can you give me top 3 factors which has the biggest influence amongst those? It's hard to say. Most often, to my point of view, this is not some independent assessment, subjective assessment. First of all, during the development, errors have been accepted because many things may not be taken into consideration. You have new vulnerabilities, etc. And number 2, if you will approach from philosophical point of view, it's always a human factor which has installed or exploited this system. So I'm looking at the personnel who is doing that. So in other words, where the people participate out of this bug, well, people participate everywhere. One person has developed, the second has installed, and which one of these people brings more damage or goodness? Well, it all depends on that person. Jones do the most. This is a separate part of people. And I have an idea that next time it should be not a bug, but a cockroach in the head when we're going to speak about how people work with this system. And the second question. Everybody is trying to do the import substitute, sorry for this word. But is there a difference between Russian manufacturers and common global from the approaches to the tests? No big difference, because most of practices come from them. And from the point of view of complex automatic checkup, when you do something, we have not seen anybody who's been doing something like that from beginning to the end. According to your observations, question number 3, do you have any progress? Well, software, versions and vendor.
Да, думаю, есть прогресс. Разработчики постоянно стараются.
Yeah, I think so. I think the developers are trying to improve these mistakes, and now we have the safe development practices, which are being proactively involved, which also increase the quality of the products. Yeah, thanks a lot. And one more question, please, right from this side.
Добрый день. Меня зовут Валерий.
Hi guys, my name is Valery. I'm from the city of Kazan, and
Уже устали ходить.
And with your permission, I'll be sitting. So basically, you are suggesting a solution, which very much is like in the category of analyzing your protectiveness. How is it different from the existing trend of the bus classes or similar solutions, or one solution of the one that Positive Technologies offers? Basically, it's the same, right? Or is it something totally new? No, conceptually, it is not new. It's basically just a kind of spin-off, and these kind of systems have been on the market for a while. It's not our development. We're not pretending that it is. And the whole point is that we can use the bus, and that after updates, things are great, and policies-wise, it's working. It's like. First of all, it's going to check all of your infrastructure, and you want to check only that your CM is working right, APS, NTS, and BLB system as well. And so the vector should be changed. It's not like searching for vulnerability, or we have to check that each rule, whether marked or did not mark a certain event, to make sure that you will not miss this critical event. So in a short time, you need to run throughout all the rules and set the check marks, set the check. So it's like a technical compliance, like a paper compliance, basically, right? Something like that. Kind of writing the check marks, check, especially after the upgrade or introducing new systems which may impact the work of the other system. We can see that this would be very useful. It makes sense, quite interesting, yeah. Yeah, and the final question, please. Yeah, can you please, Jamin, can you please lift up your hand once again? Yeah. Yeah. Thanks. Finally, my name is Dmitry, and my question is about your final slide. As a part of this, double checking, you had a Caldera in Red Atom. The checking, double checking software. And why didn't you use Metasploit or other systems which are more fitting for this? And secondly, if we're saying that we want to do our checks control, Caldera is quite simple. You launch it from the one process, from one agent, and CM or other entities may not be as efficient. Then why do we use this one? That would be better. It's my opinion, right? It would be better, for example, to show Metasploit. Metasploit is more realistic in terms of its usage. Metasploit has already been shown in the slide. Yes, we've had it, but we're showing what people are using now to double-check on their system, whether they're testing. But these options are not enough for what we need. We need some comprehensive Metasploit. Will double-check its own thing. Even Caldera is double-checking its own thing. You're looking at what is checked. And what I mean is that this kind of comprehensive system, like you're saying, would do the right thing, all the processes, and build all the right logics and foresee. Basically, it's not there when you push the button and you launch it and you get a final, ready report. Yeah, got it. Thank you. Dear colleagues, thanks a lot, and let's now give a round of applause.